Deborra-Lee Furness has taken a swipe at her ex-husband Hugh Jackman after confirming she's filing for divorce, speaking for the first time about what she's described as a journey of betrayal. For almost 30 years, Hugh Jackman was the guy every man was supposed to aspire to be. Not just a great actor or the guy with the best body in Hollywood, but a loyal, devoted husband who never let a single interview go by without telling the world how much he loved his wife. My heart and compassion goes out to everyone who has traversed the traumatic journey of betrayal. It can hurt, but in the long run, returning to yourself and living within your own integrity, values, and boundaries is liberation and freedom. Then, one Monday in June 2025, the divorce was finalized and the woman he spent 3 decades praising finally opened her mouth. And what she said changed everything. The perfect husband Hollywood sold us. Let's start with what the whole world thought they knew. For nearly 3 decades, Hugh Jackman was Hollywood's gold standard of a faithful husband. Every interview, red carpet, and talk show appearance, he had something warm and devoted to say about Deborra-Lee Furness. He was so consistent about it for so long that people stopped questioning it, and it just became background noise. Of course, the sky is blue, water is wet, and Hugh Jackman loves Deborra-Lee. That was just the way it was. In 2021, on their 25th wedding anniversary, he posted old wedding photos on Instagram with a caption about how their love had only deepened with time and about being with her feeling as natural as breathing. People reposted and shared it as proof that good men still exist. They pointed to this couple and said, "See, Hollywood marriages can work." And it wasn't just the anniversary post, but the consistency of it all. Year after year, decade after decade, the man never wavered in how he spoke about her publicly. On the set of every film, press tour, and every morning show, Deborra-Lee was the foundation. She was the love of his life and the reason everything else was possible. Of course, the media ate it up. Outlets ranked them among the rare couples who had actually cracked the code of Hollywood longevity. Fans used them as the example whenever someone claimed that fame and marriage could not coexist. They were proof that it could. So, when the separation announcement dropped on September 15, 2023, the reaction was genuine shock. Not the kind of shock people perform when a celebrity couple breaks up, but the real kind. The kind that comes from watching something you genuinely believed in fall apart. Because the truth is, people had invested in this love story. They had been told repeatedly and with great sincerity that it was real. And what nobody was asking loudly enough, at least not yet, was a very simple question. When a man tells the whole world for 30 years that his wife is everything and then leaves, which part was the performance? Was it the love or was it the leaving? And the answer to that question starts not with Hugh, but with the woman he married. Because before she was anyone's wife, Deborra-Lee Furness was already someone. Before Hugh, she was already a star. This is a part of this story that keeps getting buried under the divorce headlines, and it really should not be because it reframes everything. Deborra-Lee Furness was not a woman who built her identity around being Hugh Jackman's wife. She was an established award-winning actress before Hugh Jackman was a name anyone knew. She studied at the American Academy of Dramatic Arts in New York City. She worked in the United States appearing on the television series Falcon Crest. She then returned to Australia and built a career that stood entirely on its own. In 1988, she starred in the Australian film Shame, playing a lawyer in a rural town fighting for justice. That role earned her the Best Actress award from the Film Critics Circle of Australia. She also won the Golden Space Needle Award for the same performance. By the early 1990s, she had appeared alongside Meryl Streep in A Cry in the Dark and alongside a young Christian Bale in the 1992 film Newsies. She was not a struggling actress looking for a break at all, but was someone who had already arrived. By 1995, she was cast as the lead in the Australian television series Corelli. She was 40 years old, had a career full of credited work and real industry recognition, and was the star of the show. Hugh at that point was 25 years old and had just left drama school. Corelli was his very first professional acting job, where he played a prisoner and she played the psychologist working with him. So, let that sit for a second. The woman the world would later come to know primarily as Hugh Jackman's wife was at the start of their story the more established of the two. She was the lead while he was the newcomer with no credits to his name. The power dynamic between them was the complete opposite of how history has framed it. This entire context matters more than people realize because it changes how you read everything that came after. The sacrifices she made, the career decisions she navigated around his schedule, and the years spent relocating and adjusting and supporting. All of it looks different when you understand that she did not enter this marriage as a woman who needed to be carried. She was already standing on her own. She tried to end it before it started. When Hugh first showed interest in Deborra-Lee on the set of Corelli, she did not fall immediately. She was cautious, and she had every reason to be. The age gap between them was 13 years. She was 40 while he was 27. She had been in the entertainment industry long enough to understand exactly what people say about a woman in her position. An older woman, a more established actress, falling for a younger man who was just starting out. She knew how that story gets told. She had seen it told about other women, and she was not interested in being the punchline. So, she tried to end it before it became anything serious. She told him the age gap was too big and that it would create problems that neither of them could fully see yet. She was direct about it, even though her hesitation was not born from a lack of interest. It was the kind of clear-eyed assessment that comes from being a grown woman who has thought carefully about consequences. Hugh, by his own account, refused to accept that. He told her the age difference was irrelevant. According to him, he was certain about her, and he told her she was the person he wanted and that he was not going anywhere.